Hi there. So, most people focus on how the face looks, but very few people ask how the face actually functions. Hi, I'm Keri, and this is the Quantum Beauty Podcast, episode 5. Today's podcast is a continuation of last week. Last week's podcast was 3 reasons for young people to say no to injectables, creating a new path for our youth. And today's podcast is what cosmetic injectables don't address, because there are several things. But for today's episode, I'm going to share with you 3 things that cosmetic injectables don't address. And I invite you to ponder over those things, create some new ideas. So, the first thing that cosmetic injectables don't address is the nervous system. Your face contains highly specialized muscles called mimic muscles. And these muscles are responsible for expression, whether you're happy, whether you're sad, mad, frustrated, joyful, surprised. These muscles work in coordination with your central nervous system. So unlike any other muscle in the body, these muscles are directly tied to your central nervous system. Every thought and feeling is then a firing of the nervous system to the facial muscles, and your muscles contract in certain ways. And this really goes beyond conscious thought. We just do it. We also have micro expressions, very subtle, small expressions that maybe visually is unnoticeable, but it's happening and we feel it. And through this whole process of making expression, we are actually allowing our nervous system to regulate. And when we're communicating with another person, we are actually co-regulating our nervous systems together through talk, through expression. And so what happens when we shut this down? When we shut off this line of communication from the brain to the muscles? And that is something to ponder, because the firing is always happening. However, if that connection is shut off, which is what happens when we receive, I'll say Botox. When we receive Botox, essentially that connection is cut off. But the brain is still firing, but the feedback loop is dead. What happens then? It's not like we shut down communication and the body's relieved. Whew. Oh, thank God I can't feel that emotion, or thank God I can't express that idea. Phew. No, the body becomes confused. This makes logical sense, right? Because every time as humans we go against the body's design, there are consequences. Just the way it goes. So the communication that's interrupted, what ends up happening is that the nervous system and its regulation start to decline. The injectable then becomes a stressor to the body, just another added stressor. And we have so many in today's world. Who needs one more? So yeah, cosmetic injectables do not address the nervous system and how the nervous system works and how it's connected to facial muscles and this co-regulation that happens between people being able to see each other's and feel each other's expressions. The second thing that cosmetic injectables don't address is the actual health of the skin. We can get an injection here and there, but is our skin healthy? And there are foundational principles around skin health. So I could talk about hydration. I'm sure you heard about that one. Are you drinking enough water? Oh, I don't like my skin. My skin looks dull. Are you drinking enough water? We've also heard that diet matters. What are you eating? But what are the mechanisms surrounding this? We could be eating all the right foods, drinking water, but the circulation to the skin has become stagnant, or lymphatic drainage, lymphatic flow has become stagnant. These things, circulation, lymphatic flow, is really dependent on muscle movement. So when you prevent the muscles from moving, stagnation follows. Not enough blood flow, not enough lymph drainage. And then what happens? Well, you may love the results, the immediate results of injectables, but over time, your skin is going to lose its vitality, its resilience. It's going to lose its tone, its muscle tone. Muscles that aren't used atrophy, they weaken. And then when that happens, the surrounding tissue is not very well supported, and the foundation starts to collapse. So that once tight, full looking face begins to look a little puffy as lymph accumulates. Do you ever notice that? You know, people who get these treatments over time, their face ends up looking puffy. Anyway, the third thing cosmetic injectables don't address, and this ties into the nervous system, but it doesn't address emotional health and how you view yourself. If you don't think well of yourself, there's not much that's going to be able to fill that cup. That cup needs to be full. Really, there's two separate topics here when it comes to emotional health. But let's tie this to injectables. Our faces are one of the primary ways we express and release emotion. And again, all without conscious thought. It just happens. We just do it. It's biology. It's our design. But when expressions are inhibited, the emotion doesn't go away. Where does it go? So, while cosmetic injectables, they alter your appearance, they're a quick fix, they're an instant lift in mood and how you feel about yourself, they don't resolve the underlying patterns that really shape the face, shape the body. These patterns are neurological, they're physiological, and like I said, they're emotional. They're emotional too. So I'll leave you with this question. Are these factors that you've considered for yourself or for your loved ones? Knowing, being an informed consumer, does it make a difference? We often do what's not good for us, knowing that it's not good for us, and we do it anyway. That is the psychology of people, for various reasons. Some of those reasons are habits, addictions. Others are cognitive dissonance, not wanting to believe what's actually real. Or maybe would you consider a more integrative approach, perhaps using injectables from time to time, but being aware and supporting the foundational structures of the skin to have healthy skin? I definitely see clients who do both. They just know if they come to see me, they have to wait 5 weeks. So there isn't one right answer for everyone. I get that. I just think it's really important to be informed and be educated in order to make informed and educational decisions. If you're joining me today, I want to thank you for being here. It really means a lot. And if this episode was helpful to you, I invite you to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, share it with someone you care about, and let's continue the conversation. Let's continue the conversation around aging, around health and wellness, feeling and looking our best, no matter what our age is. Upcoming episodes include a lesson in facial somatics. That should be fun. Have you ever heard that term? And also the relaunch of my natural skincare line, Evolve Organic Skincare, which is a beautiful line. I can't wait to share it with you. So until next time, this is Keri. You are watching the Quantum Beauty Podcast, and I'll see you next week.